Welcome to the Notts and Bolts, the season so far, Christmas edition. I want to wish everybody an happy Christmas. And before we get started, let's talk about end of last season, where two lackluster games in the playoffs against Wimbledon sort of sealed the fate for Maynard. But was that going to happen anyway? Was the decision made in January where he wasn't given the tools for a promotion push? And after losing his number two, the board, the owners, didn't bring in anybody else. They just replaced him with Jovit Alves and put him in the technical area, which I thought was a bit strange at the time as well. So after them games, after the final whistle at Wimbledon, at Plough Lane, Stuart Maynard looked defeated. And was I shocked when the news broke the following week? I thought the statement on the retained list, where there was no mention of Stuart Maynard, said a lot as well. And when it broke, it was sort of like, was I shocked? Did I feel sorry for him? Yes. Was I one of his biggest critics? I hold my hands up. Yes, I was. And then we move on to, so we go about, I think about, is it 5-6 weeks before Patterson, the news about Patterson becoming manager came out. And I think the club was forced into that. It broke on X on that Sunday afternoon. I think it was Peter O'Toole who broke it at the time. And then the club came out and confirmed it. And in that statement, it says, Martin Patterson will be the next Notts County manager. He'll be meeting the press on Tuesday. The Notts County fan base went into a sort of meltdown. Obviously, like his previous managerial experience at Burton, mixed messages there, he kept him up. And the Notts fan base wasn't happy at that time. But the next day, the club rushed their interviews out. They was out the next morning, next afternoon. So you had Martin Patterson first came out, then Edwards' interview came out, and it's sort of like they was rushed out. They thought they was forced to that because of like the negative opinion between the fan base on social media. And then everybody heard Patterson's interview. They thought some of the fan base thought, oh, we'll give him a chance. Some was like a bit skeptical, and others was like unsure but willing to give him a go. How are you feeling now after what, August 5 months since he was appointed? Pre-season was a bit of a damp squid, but how are you feeling? The season at the end of July with a 1-1 draw at Newport County, setting the tone for a competitive League Two push. The drama even before the kick-off. Well, it weren't drama, was it? A Notts County fan suffered a medical emergency in the stands, so the game was delayed till 4 o'clock, which was totally fine. We've waited months for the season to start. An extra hour causes too much problems. And then that game, I remember it. I remember it well. We sort of like, second half played all right. We was a better team in that first half. Defending, again, a throw-in. Ball comes in. Goes into the box. Platt gets pushed in the back, as far as I remember, from memory. We are looking back at it totally. And then we equalised through a Dennis penalty. Was it inside the box? Was it outside the box? I don't know. But that took centre stage, that game. And then after the loss at Barrow, the Barrow game was sort of pretty shocking, in my opinion. No, it just seemed like we was going backwards. We weren't going forwards. And then an emphatic win 4-1 at home to Shrewsbury. But Shrewsbury looked at that game and added, was they that bad that made us look good? But we was really good in the way we attacked and passed the ball around. So they were showing real attacking and spark early on. Draws and win followed across the League Two, giving fans plenty to get excited about as well. So we move into like our autumn sort of form in September. September and October were about building consistency, standout results with a 1-0 win against Fleetwood and a blistering 4-0 victory over Crawley at Meadow Lane in October. Notts continued to show grit with wins over Barnet and Cambridge and an ardent draw with Swindon Town. These months laid the foundations for what became one of the most competitive campaigns we've seen in a while. Then we get into November. November consisted of mixed results and valuable points. Test of squad depth and resilience. What I found was really good about like this part, because the squad, there was questions about the squad as well, whether we had enough strength in depth. But you had injuries in defence to Platt. McDonald came in when Platt got injured. The likes of McDonald get injured, then Ness came in, and then in midfield you'd got Robinson who got injured, and Pender had come in. Mike Platt got Mike Palmer got injured, and we don't seem to miss. To a certain extent, we can win games without our best 11 players on the pitch. I'm not talking about the front two because that's totally different. But in midfield and defence, we have done really well. And Keller Roos has improved a lot as well. But then we get on to the FA Cup on November. I don't know. Live on national TV again. Non-league grad. Notts County 2-1 up, going into near enough the 90th minute. And we draw 2-2 with Brackley, but losing on penalties. I think that one where Jatta was doing the crossbar challenge was quite, I don't know, it's Notts County in cup competitions, but losing on penalties. And then we're back to league form, and we had Cheltenham Town on the Monday night with a crucial 2-1 win away at Cheltenham Town on November the 10th. The result showed Notts could grind out victories on the road. And then it was back to Meadow Lane. So you got all that positivity back to Meadow Lane on the Saturday against Harrogate Town, and we drew 1-1. I had not seen Notts play that bad for a long time. So we drew it 1-1 with Harrogate Town in a tight contest. Was that penalty? Jarvis going down in the box. The contact looked outside the box as well. But 1-1 draw with Harrogate. Figure. But then the following week, November the 22nd, Colchester United scored a late winner. Wait, we weren't really that late. We lost the game 3-1. And it was like, was it reality hitting home? I mean, 3-1 defeat at home, frustrating day. I don't know. I was like, I was very disappointed that game. But then we come to like the end of November, and we got Bristol Rovers, and Tyrese Hall gets sent off. And if you look at that sending off at Bristol Rovers, it was like Jatta's red card against Wimbledon in the playoff final. Not in the state of like challengers, but in the sense of like Jatta should have got a free kick because he was having his shirt pulled. He got frustrated and then made a challenge. Same in this game against Bristol Rovers. Tyrese Hall was fouled. The referee didn't give it. Frustration. Goes and puts the thingy straight red. So Notts played with 10 men for what near enough an hour. And then step up. Matthew Dennis. It's the ball. It deflects. Goes into the back of the net. And behind that goal went absolutely mental. The limbs in that away end was crazy. So the November roller coaster, cup disappointment with gritty league wins, tight draws, tough losses at Meadow Lane, but points was there between one, had momentum strong. Coming into December, Notts showed some real character in a series of fixtures, a big stadium where they'd be sitting at the halfway stage. On November the 9th, we produced an exciting 3-2 home win over MK Dons. What a game that was. It swung one way and another. MK Manders Lang with the first one. And then we equalised with Matthew Dennis. And then they go and get a penalty. No, not Notts fans. I like, was it a penalty? Weren't it a penalty? The referee gave it a penalty. Manders Lang steps up 2-1. And then Jetta scores. And then we're half time 2-2. We had 4 goals in 25 minutes. Crazy first half. Second half, Notts was under the cosh. And then from out of nowhere, we get a goal in the 89th minute. Meadow Lane, the limbs in the cot was amazing. A 3-2 win. And then we backed it up with a 2-0 win at Grimsby Town. First half, first 10 minutes of that game, Notts was really, really bright. Then we saw Grimsby came more into the game. But then steps Dennis again. Free towards the Grimsby box. He uses the defender as cover, hits a shot, goes into the bottom corner. Goalkeeper unsighted. Could he have done more? Could their defence have done more? And then Jetta, as he is, he gets onto a mistake from the defender and rounds the goalkeeper, slots into the back of the net. And then we move on to the most recent game at the weekend, which I weren't impressed with. The 0-0 stalemate at Warsaw, at home to Warsaw. I think I expected a bit better from Warsaw. I thought they could have, it could have been a hell of a lot of game if both teams just went at each other. Was it really worth being that defensive? And I figured just for a point, you might as well have gone out and tried to win all 3. So what do you think how this season's gone? Where do you think Notts will finish at the end of the season? Do you think we'll be up there towards the end? Or do you think we're sitting in 4th at the moment? We've got Chesterfield on Boxing Day. Do you think we'll be up there, automatics or playoffs, by the time you get to see this? Have you listened to the Richard Montague interview as well about the transfer, about the club, the technical board, how there was a path of that, a part of that still was there even before he left the first time when he went to Swansea, so it was way before. And I even said that, but I got slated for saying that I thought there was more, not interference, what I say, but there was more going on behind the scenes. It wasn't just Maynard in that aspect. But we've got 7 points out of the last 9, out of 9 possible, in December, which on paper, it was a really, really tough month as well. So I think we're doing well. I wouldn't like to say that we're going to finish in the playoffs. It all depends on how strong we are in January, whether we manage to keep Jetta and Dennis and probably some other players as well, like some of the other, like Bedu. Can we keep Bedu? Can we keep Platt? Can we keep McDonald? Can we keep Nest? And the interesting thing about Montague, we were saying, well, if bids came in for, say, like Jetta, and the answer to that, well, let's just say, like, a bid came in for a striker, so Jetta or Dennis, and then they got the money in and they go to look to reinvest it. That it was said, well, we may not go and get another striker. We may decide to invest the money somewhere else. Let me know what you think. But if you do like this content, don't forget to like, share it, and subscribe as well. I will catch you on the next one. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.